Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Jan Dyer. Tonight we are having something that's so flavorful and comes together really quickly. But first I've got to drop our pasta. I got linguine, supposed to be fettuccine, doesn't matter. They're both flat noodles. It'll be delicious, I promise. And even if you had spaghetti, it would still be good. So anyway, got my water boiling. This takes 10 minutes. I think in that period of time, we're gonna have dinner ready. So let me just get this down in the water and we will be off to the races. Listen, I've made this before and I used an already prepared Cajun mix, but tonight we're gonna make our own using a recipe that I found from the stay-at-home chef. She's so cute. You know, isn't that funny? I like to watch and see what other people do too. So, this is going to be her spice mix. Let me see if we can move on. I'll put this over here and try to come back to it if we need to. Okay, spice mix. There are several things. Most of them I already had. I had to purchase a couple. So let me go down the line. I put my stuff in order so I wouldn't get it out and forget what I'd done. A teaspoon of onion powder. A teaspoon of garlic powder. You can already tell this is going to be flavorful. A teaspoon of dried oregano. Again, a teaspoon of basil. You know that's going to be delicious, all this stuff. Then we're going to go with a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And I just got this one. I didn't worry about grinding my own. Half on the pepper. Let me turn my page and get to our next one. The one thing I did have to buy, and I've not used it before, so y'all might know why, it's white pepper. It tastes good. I don't know. I've never used it before, so we're using it today. A half a teaspoon there as well. Half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's the Cajun part, I would assume. Then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of paprika. And I have the Spanish style paprika. I don't know that it matters. I know there are all different kinds. I would say if you've got a favorite, that's the one I'd stick with. I know I've seen spicy and I've seen, smoky. I may have some smoky, but this is what I chose on this one. And this calls for a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to cut that back a little bit. I'm going to do it right at about half a teaspoon. I just feel like some things get too salty, and you put a lot of this on your chicken. So let me just utilize my little measuring spoon. Mix it all up. Let me make sure my pasta got down in. Yeah, we're doing good. Let me set a timer on that. It says 10 minutes. I'd say we've cooked it for about a minute. Okay, it is going. I'm going to turn my heat on. I've got 3 tablespoons of butter in this pan. That's really already melted. I just have this here so it wouldn't run away with my chicken. Now these were kind of big breasts. They were 8 ounces. So I sliced them in half. It calls for 4. But I do know that I've watched this girl before. She does a lot of organic chicken. They're usually smaller. So this is why I cut ours in half. Plus it's just the 2 of us. We'll have leftovers. So we take this Cajun seasoning. I'm only putting my gloves on because I know I'm going to be touching this chicken. And my hands are a little bit wet, so that makes it kind of fun. But they're there. All right, again, just stir this up. We're going to put, she says put a teaspoon on each one. we're going to look at it. Because I don't want it to get, and I cut back on the salt, but I don't want it to get too salty. Because once you've gone too salty, you cannot go back. She was using a teaspoon each on each side. And that, I'm sure that may be good. I am just trying to keep us from having too much salt, truthfully. We want all the seasoning, which I feel like we're going to get because there's so many different seasonings in here. Whoops. It's always good to keep your chicken on a board, not to put it on your cutting board. I just put these little things in the dishwasher too. That way I don't have to worry about cross-contaminating anything, which sometimes I kind of mess up, and I do. And you know what? Y'all are always so sweet about everything that I make. But if I've made a mistake and I've done something like that, I promise you one of our sons will let me know. So don't you worry. I'll always know if I've done something wrong. That's what our kids are good for, isn't it? Hey, they're awesome. I love them. They'd be my friends, even if they weren't my children. So let me take this off. I'm going to try to save that, but I may have touched my chicken with it. Okay, let's get our chicken in here. This is on a medium. Let me get it a little higher. See how thin these are? They are going to cook so fast. Let me get that going just a little bit higher. Oh, I know what the deal is. Here we go. I cook all the time, but still my stove will surprise me sometimes. It's not its fault, it was my fault. All right, I'm going to set these here. This has not touched the chicken. I'm going to move this. Let me set it over here. While these are cooking, which they're needing to come on and start cooking. Oh my gosh. Okay. If this pops open up back here. While we're waiting on this to start cooking. And the reason it didn't, I had this burner on. But this is already melted, so it'll start cooking right away, and I've got it on high now, so we're going to be all right. I've touched the chicken with that, so let me grab something to kind of stir my pasta. Well, I'm going to use this. Not what I was hoping for, but that'll work. We're down to 5 minutes on the pasta, so that may actually beat the chicken. I'm pretty sure it will. This is on now, good and going. If we have to take a break, I'll let you know, but I think this will catch up to us. Let me tell you what we're going to do. We've got this all seasoned and cooking in this butter, so it's going to be delicious. The pasta's cooking. When this chicken's done, and I've got my thermometer here so I can check it, as thin as those are, really, it's only going to take a couple of minutes aside. Take this chicken out, and we're going to cook our vegetables, which I've already sliced up bell peppers, and I just used what I had in the refrigerator. And I had bought at Sam's the multicolor pack for a different meal a week or so ago, so that's what I used. And I've gone ahead and sliced them, but we've done that together, and you just want to get them really, nice and thin. Those are ready. We also need a onion. I don't know why people call these red onions. They're purple to me. To me, I've always called them a purple onion, but most people call them red onions. But we're going to slice this because it's going to go in with the vegetables too. So let me get that sliced. And we've got a little of this left, this seasoning. I think to the end of these vegetables, we'll add just a little bit of the seasoning to them too. So let me get this. We're cooking now. That chicken's really sizzling now, so we're going to be all right. And you'll see how fast this comes together. I try to sharpen my knife a little bit. This is my little Pampered Chef knife. I got a set of these from my little friend Carla Miller. She sells Pampered Chef, and I love them. So I sharpened it. I'm not really sure I sharpened it correctly, but I sharpened it. All right, we've got these ready to go. And the way this is creamy is because we add heavy cream at the end, and that makes it super delicious as well. So, and we're going to put a little mushroom. This is 8 ounces of mushrooms that I've already sliced up, or it was 8 ounces before my husband, my cameraman, started tasting them. But that's okay, he's had a long day. Let's check our chicken. Oh, that looks really good. But truthfully, this is so thin. We'll check it before I take it out. I've got a pan here that I can take it out and put it on. And we'll we'll check the temperature. 165 is what you want your poultry. So let me set these back over here. The pasta's cooking. So let me think if there's anything else. We're going to just continue to watch this cooking, and it will just take a minute. So I think what we'll do is take just a little bit of a break so that way I can make sure my chicken's done. When you come back, I'll take the chicken out, we'll do our veggies, and we'll be almost ready to sit down at the table. So I'll see you in just a minute. All right, the chicken's done. We're taking it out. And I recommend having one of these meat thermometers. You know, it's always good to be able to check. Oh gosh, we're at 170. We're good. We always like our food nice and well done anyway. All right, I turned this down just a little bit. Now we're going to add our vegetables. And it was 3 bell peppers, any color you like. We're also going to add, let me get a little bit of this seasoning in here. We've got a lot of that good seasoning on the bottom of this skillet too, but we'll put a little bit in here. And we will see how delicious that is. Oh, see. I've got also 3 tablespoons of butter. It's 6 tablespoons total. The chicken cooked in 3. Had a little bit left in the bottom, and then just 3 more for the vegetables. Let's get those stirred around good. Let me get my handle over here so I can hold on to it. Listen, another thing that she calls for in her recipe is mushrooms. Sounds delicious. We like mushrooms in just about everything. So let's get those in here. Let those cook down. Stir them around real good. There was good bits on the bottom. I want to make sure we get all that too. And that butter melting helped us pull those up from the bottom. So that'll be wonderful. And will save us a little bit. We're going to put the pasta in here once these vegetables are good and tender. But let me just do a little trick here. Get my pasta up out of the water. It is good and done. Try to make sure it doesn't fall back down. It's done that before. Oh yeah, that's good. Good and done. I've thought about this today, knew that I was going to make this tonight, which means we're also going to eat it tonight. That always makes for a good day when you know what's going to be on the table. You know, I don't know. I have never ordered my food and picked it up. I always like to go to the store, even in the height of the pandemic. I mean, I would make my list and maybe go once every 2 weeks, but I kind of like to see what all's available. So sometimes I won't know what I'm having for dinner until I've gone to the store that day. And sometimes I end up going to the store almost every day. But we live in town, so it's easy. I actually work right across from a Harps and a Sam's, and so it couldn't be simpler. Okay, while these continue to get a little bit softer, because I'd like them to get just a little bit softer, let's go over the recipe, and we'll have that done. You know what? These are wonderful too because they're magnetic. I just put it on my little range hood there, and it stays right there. It's there when I'm ready for it. Okay, 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And like I said, mine were large, so I cut them in half. And you saw, this is what it made. To me, that's like the size of almost a regular chicken breast once it's cooked down. So, plenty of food for us tonight and for leftovers. Then I did my Cajun seasoning, which was all those spices. A teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of oregano, teaspoon of basil, a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going slow in case y'all are writing this down. A half a teaspoon of white pepper, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and I guess really if you wanted to heat it up quite a bit, you could always increase it, but until you know, I'd certainly wait. 2 teaspoons of paprika, and that's one of the reasons it got such a pretty color. A teaspoon of salt. So, we seasoned up our chicken breasts, cooked it in 3 tablespoons of butter. Once it's done, that's where we find ourselves now. We've got 3 bell peppers, a red onion, purple, 8 ounces of mushrooms. And that's where we're at. We've got a pound of pasta. Any pasta that you want to use would work. You know, they just use the flat pasta, your fettuccine, your linguine, whatever. Tonight, I think we're fettuccine. But that'll be delicious. And then all we're going to do, once this gets just a little more tender, I'd like it to be. The onions look perfect. The peppers are just a little bit, I keep knocking stuff out. That tells me I need to slow down. Do y'all have days like that? Seems like a hurry, try to get things done quicker. Always takes me longer. That's when I said to myself, you just need to slow down. Okay, what we're going to add to this is 2 cups of heavy cream. I'm going to call those done. If you want yours more tender, you can always let them cook a little bit longer, but I mean, they have got good color on them, so I think you're going to be done. 2 cups, this is just 16 ounces. I had some cream this weekend. We had family here, and it was brand new, and when my sister opened it to put it in her coffee, it curdled. That wasn't good. But luckily I had another little bit in there. You know, it seems like when you've got family and you have a dessert, you always need a little coffee. Okay, this needs to just thicken up a little bit. Once it's thickened, we're going to add in our pasta. But while we're waiting on this to kind of come to boil, what we did was sliced our chicken and put it back in here on top of the noodles. So, let me see if I can do that without cutting meat or something else. Because these are a little bit different shape, it might be a little bit harder, but no, it's going to be fine. You do not have to do this part. I just liked it because it kind of makes everything just bite-sized and ready to eat. So we'll slide that back in once this thickens up. We've had a rainy day today, but hey, that's going to help us have a beautiful spring. So I'm excited about that. Excited about, woke up a little early this morning. I always feel like that's just the Lord's way of getting me ready for losing that hour. He's saying, you know, you're not going to get to sleep as long, so go ahead and get up at, I think it was like a little after 5 when I woke up, and I normally don't get up till after 6. But just getting ready for the next season. It's bubbling up good now. I'll get these cut up and then I will give it a good stir. I'm telling you, this smells good. I am excited about it. It would have been easier to put this out on my cutting board and cut it that way. But then I'd have messed up my cutting board. Got it all dirty. And this way I can just slide it into the pan. Sometimes I feel like the less you handle your food while you're cooking, the better off you are. But these are nice and well done. They're juicy. They don't look like they're dry at all, so that's going to make for a really good dinner. I'm kind of fighting with that one. I trim these up really good too because I like to make sure there's no, these are boneless, skinless, obviously, but I also like to make sure that there's no fatty pieces or anything on them. I would like to see this thicken up just a little bit more. And then we're going to add in our pasta. And really, when you add in your pasta and there's liquid in it, that pasta is going to soak up some of that, and that's going to make it really, really good. So if I were you, I would let mine thicken just a little bit longer. But I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and put my pasta in here and put my chicken in here so y'all can see the finished product. And then we will be ready to sit down to dinner. I am going to I bought some of those little garlic knots. Have y'all seen the garlic knots? They have them at Walmart, but they're in a little bag. Still here? There you go. Savory garlic knots. These are the cutest things. You put them in the oven in this bag at 350 for 5 minutes. Doing it. Dropping the pasta. Let me get a spoon. I'm fighting my pasta because I let it set and dry out a little bit. But this juice will loosen it right up. See how that's soaking everything up? When we get this stirred around, I will put my chicken on top of it and you will see how beautiful it is. You know, that's the thing, and it's really the truth. We eat with our eyes first. So if it looks appealing, it kind of gets us really excited about what we're going to have. I love peppers. I love mushrooms. And who doesn't love pasta? And chicken's like the #1 most favorite thing that people ever order in a restaurant or even make at home. All right, doesn't that look pretty? Let me slide this in. Turn this off. And spicy, Cajun, creamy pasta. That's what's for dinner tonight. Doesn't it look delicious? That with a little salad and these bread, that's all we're going to have. And you saw how long it took me to cook it. You were with me the whole time. So I hope you'll try it, and I hope you love it, and let me know. And we'll see you back here real soon.